Now, one of the big things we're going to use to end up graphing polynomials is their zeros, where they cross the x-axis. Okay, so first you should know that a polynomial of degree n always has at least one zero and at most n zeros. Okay, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later too. The real zeros, so any of them that aren't imaginary, don't have complex, don't have i's in them, they're also the x values of the x-intercept. So if we can find those zeros, we'll know where the graph crosses the x-axis. And they're solutions to the related equation, so when you set the equation equal to 0. And we can find real zeros if we can factor the polynomial. So in this section, most of our polynomials will be very easy to factor. And in the next section of the unit, you're actually going to really work on learning how to factor polynomials. So first of all, to verify something's a zero of a polynomial, we need to think about what does a zero really mean. Well, a zero means that you plug it in and you get out 0. Okay, so when number 1 here says use substitution to determine if -3 is a zero of this polynomial f of x, what we want to do is test out f of -3 and see if it is equal to 0. So that would be -3 squared plus 6 times -3 plus 9, which would give us 9 minus 18 plus 9, which is equal to 0. So we could say yes, -3 is a zero of f of x. Okay, now what that also tells us is that x minus -3, which would be x plus 3, is a factor of f of x, and we'll learn more about that later. But just something to keep in mind. The zeros and the factors are really highly related. Okay, so if we're able to factor the function, like you learned about with quadratics, so here it says consider the function f of x equals x squared minus 5x plus 6. In the factored form, the function is f of x equals x minus 2 times x minus 3. Well, if you can factor it, finding the zeros are really easy. We can use the principle of zero products here, and we're going to set x minus 2 equal to 0 and x minus 3 equal to 0. So that means x equals 2 and x equals 3. Okay, so both of those are zeros of the function. Well, what would the x-intercepts be? The x-intercepts would be 2, 0 and 3, 0. Okay, so we could plot those points and they would be on the graph. And then it says what are the solutions to, this is the what we call the related equation. And that just means we took the function and set it equal to 0. Well, the solutions would be the same as the zeros we found, x equals 2 and x equals 3.